Let's talk about systems of grading today. I have two of them and I cannot wait to see which ones that you guys do. So this is going to be a short, informative video, especially for those new homeschoolers. I have two ways that I grade papers. And grading papers and staying on top of papers is so important because I have to submit records for my kids. And, because we have a cover school. And I know not everybody uses them. I think probably very few homeschoolers use a cover school, but we are a military family, so we bounce from house to house, state to state, location to location. And our records, our homeschooling records are just all over the place. The easiest thing for me to do was to get a cover school, and they keep all of our records for us. And at the end, we actually get a diploma from that school for our children. So to get to that point of graduation for my kids, I have to keep grades. So what I do is I submit our grades online to our cover school so they can get their diploma and they can have, graduation requirements and things like that. So because we use a cover school, I do have to make sure that twice a year in July and January, I submit grades and attendance. So I have to keep up with grades from elementary through high school for both of my children. Now, I have to stay on top of grading for that. I cannot get behind. If I get behind, I can't submit those grades. So it's really important to me to keep up with the grades. Even if I'm sick, I really try to keep up with grading their individual work. And, it's just one of those things that I get really mentally overwhelmed if I'm behind on grading. If I have a stack of papers to grade, I don't know, like my brain just does something and it like short circuits. I don't know, like that's my thing. I hate grading too much at once. So I have two systems that I do to try to keep that under control. So the first one is grading immediately after an assignment. So what I started doing this year with the kids was I told them, if you have a workbook, so like one of their Generations books. So we have a ton of these like Generations books down here, and these are like their daily work. So like here's Epoch, and we have worldviews down here. I have worldview and conflict right here on the desk. So once they finish one of those books that has worksheets in it and they just finish an assignment where they're answering questions that I need to grade, I tell them, okay, as soon as you're finished, come bring it to me. I want to check it. And I will do it right then and there, and I will check it. And there's some benefits to this. So first, obviously you're going to see right away that the work is complete, or if it's not complete, and you're going to be able to check their comprehension on that specific assignment right then and there, and then you can discuss it with them. And if you find any points where you need to maybe have a discussion with them on, that would be a great time to do it because they just read the material and they just did the assignment. So I feel like that's a perfect time to do that. Now, the con on this is, especially if you have multiple children, you're going to be doing this like 10 times a day. Especially and some days will be heavier than others depending on their work schedule. And I have found that sometimes it drives me nuts. So there are days where I'm just like, oh my goodness, if I have to grade one more assignment, like there's not enough coffee in the world. So if I'm getting overwhelmed, what I do is sometimes I will push it off. Like if I know that this is an easy subject for them, I will push it off until Friday for myself, or I'll push it off until the next day. So if you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, don't feel bad taking a break and just saying, okay, I will grade this after I have a cup of coffee. Don't feel bad saying that. Now, the second system I've done, and it seems like some weeks it just happens this way, I will grade on Fridays. And I posted an Instagram post on this a couple days ago, I think this past Friday, because last week was like this where I did not need to really grade anything. They didn't have a whole, neither one of them, I don't know, it just fell on this strange week where neither one of them had a whole lot of written assignments that needed to be graded immediately. Anything that needed to be graded was stuff that was pretty easy for them. They understood the material. We already had discussions on that. I wasn't worried about it. And I just pushed it to Friday because we didn't have a whole lot. So I ended up grading everything on Fridays. And I did that while I was planning. So what I did was I knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone. I was able to get their weekly planning done that Friday for the following week, so like this week's assignments, and I was able to grade their papers all at once. So it kind of worked out to, so I was planning for about 30 minutes, but in that 30 minutes, I graded everything, recorded those grades, and then looked in the front of the book to see what the following week's assignments were gonna be, wrote those down in my planner, and then moved on to the next subject. And I did that for the entire week, and actually it worked out really nice. So I was only doing that for, I usually like to plan for about 15 minutes. This took me about an extra 15 minutes to do because there wasn't like that much, but I got everything done at once, and it was okay. Like, and you know, both the boys had their assignments were done, so I didn't have anything really I needed to worry about. Nothing was incomplete or unfinished or needed to be talked about. So I don't know, some weeks it just works out like that, and there's pros and cons of that as well. So the pros definitely are just getting it done at once, where you don't have your day kind of chopped up and you're given assignments throughout the entire day that you need to do. But the con is if there is an incomplete assignment, or if you figure out like, okay, they really did not comprehend this, they're gonna have to go back, and it might be difficult for them to recall those things because they didn't just do it. So, there's that. Now, there is one suggestion that is kind of like in the middle too. And I have done this before as well, but I don't like doing it. I really don't like doing it. And that is to do it at the end of the day. So waiting until the kids are completely done with all their assignments, and then you going in and doing it the same day just after they're done. I don't particularly like this one just because that's usually when I'm, getting ready for dinner prep, or I'm getting ready to work out, or a lot of times that's when I'm getting errands done. So I typically don't have time at that point to do that, which is why I like to do it just during school. But I'm sure like my schedule is not everybody else's schedule. So that is another option. And the pros with that is just, they're gonna be able to finish anything that they didn't finish, or if they accidentally skipped a question. My kid did that last week. He accidentally skipped a question. They can go back and they can finish that, and the material is still fresh in their mind to be able to do that. Or if you see they didn't comprehend something, the material is still fresh in their mind. The cons with that is if you finish a little bit later. I know a lot of people, they don't finish homeschool until like dinner time because they start a little bit later. It just really depends on your schedule. Then you may be like me and you just don't have time to do that at that point. So, you kind of just have to work it out with your own family schedule and what's best for you. Okay, so there's my 3 systems of grading. Let me know, what do you do down in the comments? Do you do it same day? Do you do it later? Do you do it at the end of the week? How do you grade? Like, at what point in your day do you grade? I would love to know down below. I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy homeschooling.